Welcome to Two Bitches in a Broom podcast. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode, which we are going to change it up a little bit. I feel like we've been doing that quite a bit. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like, I don't know. That's just me. I'm a little nuts. But we are going to get into collective messages for today. So, what is it? What is the deepest message that the collective needs at this time? So, as with anything, take what resonates, put the rest aside for later. It may circle back, it may not, who knows? So I guess I will start. So we did this just so everybody's aware. We did this completely separate from each other. So we didn't know what each other got until we got together and kind of compared notes a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure have no doubt that stuff is going to come up in the middle of conversation as it always does anyways.
Yeah.
So we take everyone on a ride. All right. So I feel like with collective message and what does the collective need to know right now? I feel like this is a time to, and I'm going to just look at my channeled notes too while I do this, a time to let go and let be. I feel like casting aside, there's a message in here too about casting aside the guilt, worry, shame of past choices because it was really impressed upon me. I mean, like all caps, highlighted, exclamation point, choices is the biggest theme right now. And side note, we're recording this too on summer solstice is today, isn't it? Is
It
today the
started
summer solstice?
yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, renewal, rebirth, refresh, that energy is really here for everybody. I feel like when it comes to also the choices that we're making, letting go of all the past choices that we've made, but moving forward, um, being really mindful of the choices that you are going to make for your future. So I really feel like we are in the time of creating our new timelines, our new realities, our new stories, and who's going to be in it, and what you want to do. So I also feel like action with these choices that we're making. So, for whatever this means for everybody, when you are feeling this, take that time to take actionable steps, small or big, but just do something. And I feel like that's also pulling that into your new reality. I feel like there are a lot of people experiencing right now this sense of lack and disconnection, false sense of security. As you experience that lack, you dip into that lower energy, you dip into that lower vibration, and it moves you away from your team, from source, from your divine connection, but also just the awareness of the divinity within yourself. So I feel like that kind of is the theme of a lot of people that are experiencing this right now.
Mhm.
I also feel like love you all mean it, but again, like we even spoke of victim mentality, with the cards that I pulled after I did the channel message. Yeah, a lot of people carrying this mentality of, I'm going to use your words, cry baby, poop my pants,
Yeah.
because I like that.
Yeah. It's true though.
So, but, and I also too feel like with everything that's like you are reaping what you sow, and that doesn't always have to be taken in a negative connotation, but really we're being confronted with our limiting beliefs, we're being confronted with these shadow aspects for you to release and make different choices. So when you're listening to this, don't take it as heavy or, oh my gosh, everything sucks. um, this is an opportunity to kind of hit that pause button, take that moment to go back within, recenter yourself, like recalibrate. Oh, I like that. Recalibrate your compass is what I just heard. So, yeah, you want to go over a little of what you got, and then we'll mesh them together.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So mine is that you should know that you just being, just existing, and still alive with the breath of the divine automatically makes you worthy, period. You are the temple. You invite the divinity in simply by intention. Give sacred meaning and intention to the everyday and mundane. Invite the experience of the divine to join you in all that you be, say, and do. Know and stay connected to your deepest desires. You're here to ground those into the physical world. Stop living in mediocrity. Decide that you are worthy of your big and deep desires and go for them. Stop settling for anything less. Stay connected to your fuck yes. It's that feeling when you feel lit up from within your soul. Follow your edge of what feels big and scary and follow that. Also, give zero fucks about saying no, because no is a complete sentence. Anything that is not a match for your desire must be released. So if it's not a fuck yes, it's an automatic fuck no. It also may seem counterintuitive, but in a universe that is filled with yes, 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 and abundance, we speak with our energy by demonstrating our no's. And we have to get good at saying no to absolutely everything that isn't a match for us. I also want to add to choose bliss. You know, we always choose beautiful thoughts, beautiful feelings when possible, choosing to see the perfection and divinity and what is just as it is. When not so beautiful thoughts come up, observe them as a product of your monkey mind without self-judgment, without making them mean anything. You know, choose your bliss. Choose it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's mine.
I like that. You know, it makes me think too, as I'm listening to your message, which sounds way more in, I don't even know what to say, like put together than mine is like, it's like little all over the place. But I, I like that the part, especially where you talk about um, getting good at saying no, because
Mhm.
I mean, being counterintuitive, and I think this kind of goes into just in manifestation and how the basically just about everybody who talks about it or teaches it
Mhm.
is to word things in a positive way, word things in not using the no and not using um, negative driven words.
Yeah.
But when you're saying it the way that I'm listening to you and the way I'm taking it too, because when I'm listening to you, I'm acting like I'm the collective. Give me a message.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah, we are
the
though.
more that yeah, the more that you say no, I feel like that's welcoming more of the opportunities for yes. You're doing is fine tuning the yes stuff. Because if you're getting good at saying no, then the universe is okay. Well, she doesn't want that. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? It's just you're just kind of clearing the deck and fine tuning your own path.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and being very particular and picky about what you want in your life when you are looking at getting good at saying no. So I
Yeah.
think that's a really important message for everyone right now.
I feel like, especially with women, and I don't think it's just Western culture. I think it's pretty broad, sweeping in many
Mm-hmm.
cultures that, we're supposed to be nurturing and caring and supportive and blah, 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 blah.
Subservient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so when somebody asks us to do something and we genuinely are like, that's a fuck no, we still say yes because we
Mm-hmm.
feel shame for choosing us over fill in the blank, whatever that may be.
Right. Yeah.
And that is so damaging to our energy. I mean, as an energy worker, I've seen it. I've literally I use a still shot from an aura reading with that example taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how damaging it is to the energy system when you're doing something that you're forced to do, or that you're doing because you don't want to do it, but you're doing it anyways. That's so damaging.
Oh yeah. I can only imagine, and I'm sure as especially as women, um, we've all been down that road of saying
Mhm.
yes to things we don't want to do.
Yeah,
And not only do you start harboring like the guilt and the shame for wanting to say no, then you have anger, frustration, resentment
yeah,
for saying yes.
yeah.
So, that is like torture to the energy, torture to your aura, and your frequency just goes like tanks because of that.
And I find it to be a little ironic because if we're comparing that to feminine and masculine energies, being in your feminine divine means that you're always choosing you,
Mm-hmm.
that you come first. You're always choosing you. So I find it interesting that, the female race is supposed to behave this way and the male
Mm-hmm.
race behaves this way. But as females, you're supposed to be this caring, nurturing, blah, 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 blah. And for some reason, that equals doing things you don't want to do. So for anybody who's listening and somebody calls you and like, oh, can you do a play date? No, I'd rather eat meals. Don't do it, you know, or with your kids, or hey, do you want to go and have coffee? And you don't want to, don't do it, or whatever it may be. Doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
how big or how small it is. If you don't want to do it, don't. Sure, we can force ourselves to do things. Absolutely. I can force myself to do anything, but my energy is going to respond and my ego is really going to respond to that. Is
Yeah.
really going to respond to that. And my higher self, I'm just getting more and more disconnected from.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just good food for thought, you know?
Yeah. I think a good takeaway with this and kind of what we both have pulled is this is also part of that understanding that confrontation, like, being confronted with your own divinity and your own power and the choices that you make along your journey. Because I feel like right now, too, we are in this heightened energy of creation.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds kind of like cliche to say, but it's so different this year
Mhm.
than anything that we've done or experienced in the past. And now that we're in summer and we're moving forward, I feel like this is going to only heighten for everybody
Mhm.
because it's a pivotal creative time frame. You are literally choosing your timeline. You are literally choosing what you want to experience and your mental state in this existence, how you view your reality. Um, I like to say, so I came up with this thing a long time ago, uh, when you have a hard time saying no, and forever, whoever this helps. And then when you find yourself, not to like focus this only on women, but we bear the brunt a lot of this stuff,
Yeah.
is used to say yes like all the time and just like figure it out, right? Especially the doers and the level-headed, the strong ones, the
Yeah.
survivors, that all of the shit we've all subscribed to at some point in our lives, right? And when you're breaking away from that, it can feel bad to do so. It can feel, you're going to have all of these feelings of, what am I really, should I really? And I feel like, at least in my experience, it was trying to justify well, it's just this one time, or it's just this, that, like if
Mhm.
I say I'm done working at 8 and they're like, well, I'm already here, I'm just going to do one more. And then it turns out like you're not leaving till 10,
Yeah.
because you're like, I'm already here. Um, but when it comes to people in our lives and learning to create that boundary and say no, I kind of came up with this little uh, assessment I would ask myself when somebody asked me something, to do something for them. If I had to sit down and go out of my way to figure out how I'm going to make this work, it was an automatic no. If
Mhm.
it was something where I could easily do it and I didn't feel any strain, sure, no problem. But if it was something that I had to sit down and be like, okay, well, I can move this aside and to put here and then do that, all of that nonsense, it
Mhm.
was an automatic no. I
Right.
started there
Yeah.
and then evolved to the point where I no longer engage in anything that I don't care to engage in. Sorry, not sorry. It
Yeah.
is what it is, you
My
know?
my entire being will go through a revolt if I try to make myself do something
Right,
I genuinely don't want to do. And I'm not talking about like clean your counter off or do your laundry.
right, right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm sure there's many times throughout your day that you're confronted with different things. Oh, I have to, I must, I should.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little bit, we're not talking about procrastination when it comes to chores. Okay. I'm talking about, a friend calls you and says, hey, will you do this? Or your spouse may ask you to, take out the garbage, and it's usually his thing to take it out. And you're like, absolutely not. Like I am that person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take out garbage. I don't want to put gas in my car. Don't ask me to do those things. It will always be no forever. I will die on that hill. It will
Right.
always be no. You
Well,
know,
it's, if you're at least for me in my experience, if it's something that I don't want to do,
Mhm.
let me tell you, either this is going to tell you, if this mouth doesn't tell you, this face
Yeah,
is going to tell you,
yeah.
and this energy is going to tell you.
You know what? A long time ago, I heard an astrologer say that um, Sagittarius is God's favorite. It's his chosen. And this was like a very, very long time ago. I heard that. And it just really stuck with me. And I remember going, I wonder why people view that to be true, and I go through it. And so my moon is Sag, Krys's sun is Sag, my spouse is a Sag. And I just found that really intriguing. And you know what I came to believe? It's because Sagittarius say what they mean and they mean what they say. They
Yeah.
don't, what you see is what you get, and there is no flowering or masking. It's just like there's like a filter missing from the head to the mouth. That filter is completely negated. God's like, nope, don't need that. They're Sag, you know? So
Right.
I think that that is why some astrologists perceive uh they're God's chosen, because you know, you don't have the same blocks that I believe a lot of people have,
Mm,
you
hmm.
know.
Yeah.
If it's a no, it's like it's a no for Sag.
Right.
It just is. But when it comes to other signs, that's a hard one. That's a hard one for a lot of different signs. You know, they have guilt, they have shame, they have remorse. You know, am I doing the right thing? Um, like Pisces will overthink themselves until they explode. Like, is it a
Hmm.
good choice? Is it not? You know, how is this going to affect me tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I like what you say too with on that same note too with the channeled messages when it comes to these impactful, powerful choices that we're all being confronted with right now. When you talked about if it's not an immediate fuck yes, then it's an automatic fuck no. I wrote that down because I'm gonna.
did you really good?
I like that. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that too is when we're going through, and I'm looking at my notes also, I wrote down here also, we're aligning our heart's desire with our soul purposes. I feel like a lot of people are being confronted with
Wow.
your soul purpose, like, right? Like spirit's like, it's time to get down to business.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Align that with your heart's desire. Um, when it comes to that, think about that. Food for thought. Think about that. What Charlie said. If it's not a fuck yes, you don't feel it within yourself. It doesn't light you up.
Mhm.
Then it should be an automatic fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah. So the messages are independently channeled.
Mm-hmm.
And you also drew a card to like see
Yeah.
like what else am I perceiving? What am I intuiting from this? So what
Mm-hmm.
was the cards that you got? Because I thought that was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did the channel message. I wrote some stuff down and then I pulled cards afterwards just to go a little bit deeper from two different decks. So we'll go with I'm going to tell you all the cards that I got. So from the traditional tarot deck, I have the Empress in reverse, along with bum, 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 Judgment in reverse. So when I pulled these cards, is what is the current state, energetic state the collective is experiencing? And again, confronted with your limiting beliefs, you know, feeling that lack, that victim mentality, really succumbing to that. So feeding it, right? So, like, again, with what Charlie's messages were, when you're looking at it from a non judgmental standpoint, I always like to say the student seat. So, when you are having these emotions or these experiences or memories or things come up, put yourself in like a student seat as you're just observing them because you're not falling into it. But I feel like with these two, I feel like there's quite a bit of people who are falling into, allowing themselves to fall into this energy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then the other deck that I got was security, and I'll just show it really quick because these aren't tarot cards.
Oh, those are
Security,
pretty.
yeah, action, and then again, happiness, heart's desire, soul purpose.
I love
And
that.
and then under the deck for that one, going forward, like,
And what is the name of that deck? Because that's beautiful.
yeah, this one is the Sacred Destiny Oracle. This is what
Yeah,
the
that's
cover looks
really
like.
pretty.
Yeah. I love the artwork on
Yeah.
these cards. So, I feel like this is just further emphasizing the importance of your choice
Mhm.
right now, and where we perceive our sense of security. And I feel like when we fall into that lack mentality, that missing out, that, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, this is where I'm at in my life, um, it as you lose yourself in your connection, I should say, your connection with source, your God, your source. um, it's like that false sense of security, right? Because we're reaching for other things to cling on to.
Mhm.
But the point of this too is for you to, again, recalibrate your compass. So
Yeah.
pause. I encourage everybody, if you take anything away from anything either of us are saying, take the time to pause and recenter yourself.
Yeah.
Call back into yourself, call back into your power, because everything is within you. This is co-creation at its finest. So
Okay, great.
yeah. Yeah, you want to go over the one that you got?
Yeah, so I only pulled two cards
Hmm.
because I don't know, I just did.
Yeah, I'm
Um
just nosy. I'm like, I look at a deck, I'm like, oh, let's go, let's get
yeah.
that one. Okay, let's try this one.
So when I pulled these cards, the intention was, what else did you want to say, or did you want to clarify further? Okay. So I can't help but laugh when I saw the first card. I was just like, oh my God, because my deck is very, very, very blunt. And I use the traditional writer. So it's the Ten of Swords,
Mm,
right? And for me, this is the, crybaby poop my pants card. Yes, life is tough. Yeah, you've had a lot of shit thrown at you. But, it is the card of, let me tell everybody that's around me of all of my woes and all of my problems and everything, but you're not actively trying to get up or do anything, you know? You're waiting for somebody to rescue you from your perceived pitfalls. And then the Knight of Cups, it's really saying, quit waiting for somebody to come and rescue you, and rescue your damn self. Fill your own
right.
cup up. Go out there and get it. You want it? Do it. You want change? It's not going to fall from the ceiling, you know? You have to take the action to make the change. You have to.
Hmm.
It's doable though. It really is. It really
Oh
is.
yeah, you are your own savior.
And I really feel like we're in this time right now. I mean, we have all these crazy energies, astrologically speaking.
Hmm.
We have a lot going on up there. And I think people are starting to feel the impact of it. What you haven't dealt with is going to pursue you until you finally deal with it. So you kind of
Hmm.
have two choices. Do you want to like live on a record playing repeat? Or do you want to do something different? And
Right.
if you don't like where you're at and it's not working out for you, why wouldn't you try? You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this kind of goes in line too with, I know we've talked about this before in past episodes, but it is that kind of great separation and that great purge, right? That's happening, like the choose to and choose not
Yeah.
to's.
Yeah.
And it is the choose to align and choose not to align, choose to repeat. You're choosing not to address the things that are coming up for you. So you're just going to fall back into that repeated cycle.
Yeah.
And, you know, resistance is persistent. So, uh,
Yeah,
It's going to make its way,
it will.
and it may intensify because obviously, the way I look at it is the spirit's like, oh, you're not getting it this way. So then let's bring it around this way. And circumstances just continue like domino effect, right?
And
Um,
in my experience, if you're not getting it, let's say you have a pattern, like, oh, this seems to keep happening, it's going to get more intense to make you more uncomfortable, to make you make the change, to
mhm,
initiate change. So my theory is, I don't like pain. That's not my jam. I don't like mental, physical, or emotional pain of any type. So when I start to notice that, or if there is a pattern, I'm like, oh yeah, we're changing that. I don't know how I'm going to change every motherfucking thing because I don't want to experience it,
right.
because I never want it to get to the point of where, the universe is like just slapping me, like, you getting it now, kid, Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
trust me,
I
I've had those experiences in the past. I mean, I endeavor to always do better, but you know,
yeah.
just if you see it, change it, change it. What do you have to lose? If you're not liking what you got nothing to lose.
Mhm. Yeah. And I feel like too, this is a time where we're all being um confronted too with in the scheme of like limiting belief system too, but just what seems logical and sensible. I feel like, this is the time to dream and dream big and really
Yeah.
do that stuff, whatever, again, soul purpose, heart desire.
Mhm.
And it may not seem rational because it's societal structure, right? So it's the programming, the systematic programming that's falling away. But you can still, like I tell some of my clients, you can live and build your passion and build your business. Nobody says you can't do uh, both like at the same time. I feel like this all or nothing energy is encompassing a lot of people. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You can absolutely have gratitude for your 9 to 5 because it provides sustenance for your family, for yourself, for your home, or, we all got these earth bills.
Right.
But
I know that's right.
like my daughter says, we literally have to pay to exist on this rock.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And truer words have never been spoken, friend.
True.
But you can do that and work on your soul purpose and work on your passion and manifest all these other things. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing, even though I feel like that's kind of the energy people are experiencing. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Mhm.
A hard head makes a soft ass, and I've I've hard head a lot in my life, so I endeavor to do better and never as well.
Yeah.
So
And I also want to say, I'm in a motel. I'm sure you can tell by my background. So I apologize for the background setting, but I'm out of state. So yeah, I just didn't want people to go, what the hell was she in her bedroom now? I have
they're like, "Oh, you
so
got
much
two
better
beds in your
taste
house."
than this, you know. Uh,
I think by the curtains alone, we can tell that
oh
it's
my
it's
gosh.
typical hotel stuff.
And it's like pretty pricey. I was like surprised when I walked in. I'm like, ooh, Kitty, this is different. All right. You kind of feel like it's very much a 1970s vibe. I'm assuming it's intentional. It's
Yeah,
just not my personal aesthetic dream, you
but
know?
it's just not my jam. But if it's yours, totally cool,
Yeah,
totally cool. do
totally
do
cool.
you, boo? Do you?
You should see the covers. I mean, you think that they're very similar.
Mm,
Do, 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 do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vintage, as the kids say these days.
I feel like it's
So,
very intentional. It's yeah, I do. I feel like it's very intentional, even like their um fixtures that they have, like
mm,
fixtures and everything. Not like the tub and the toilet kind of thing, but
yeah, yeah,
like the handles, and there's just little
yeah.
homages to that era that I'm just like,
No,
yeah. The guest little book where it tells you about everything, and you can tell it's very new. It's an homage. I think it's a nod to the 70s.
mm,
And I'm like, I
it's
wonder
like
if
a
it had like, I don't know, a different room.
it's
It's
like that
very
boutique
modern.
experience, that mod boutique experience.
Yeah.
That's a thing now. So,
Yeah, I
I mean,
guess.
like, we look, I'm gonna age myself too here, but we see like all the fashion and walk in the stores with my children, and I'm like, I wore that in high school. I
Yeah.
I told my daughter, like, I should have just kept all my shit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's basically everything that's now new.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like,
So
yeah. But you know what? I don't think those tube tops were good then, and I don't think they are now. They're just not. It's
oh,
just not.
some things should stay
Yeah.
buried. That's all I'm gonna say. I've seen some things. I am a, what is it called? Zennial, millennial,
Is that
Gen
what you
X,
are,
Zennial.
really? I'm
I guess
so
we
old.
qualify Zennial, like a between a millennial. I guess there's a little pocket. I read this somewhere. There's a little
Oh,
pocket of when you were born, leaving the Gen X into millennial. So like the last of, we got to experience, like, we were the generation
uh-huh.
that was there when, remember the dial-up internet and stuff started happening. And
Yeah.
so I guess we're called Zennials. But anyways, yeah, I see some of that stuff and I'm like, yeah, some of that shit it's okay to keep it buried. You don't got to bring that back.
Yeah. It's okay. We don't need that.
We don't need that. We've evolved. We don't need that
Yeah, we
anymore.
don't need it.
Oh gosh, fun times. But anything else you want to add on this message? I think we pretty much covered a good
Yeah.
chunk of kind of current collective
Yeah, absolutely.
energy. Yeah,
There's nothing more that I have to add, turn today into your gateway. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like, if you were to do a exercise and sit down and want to write out your heart's desire and your soul purpose and allow your intuition to speak and feel what really lights up your body, what feels good. Think of it too as if nothing is off limits. What would you want to create?
Mhm.
And on the same token, um, you know, if you're feeling already drawn to a certain thing and already drawn to a certain area, what actionable steps can you take to bring that into your reality? Because you have to anchor it into your physical reality. We can't just
Yeah.
dream a little dream and then be like, thank you, make it so.
That's a
So,
really good point. And with summer solstice here, you guys, whoever's watching, it's an awesome opportunity. You can actually do a little ritual. And I mean,
mm,
this goes really well. I just thought of that when you were talking. I'm
yeah,
like, holy
yeah,
crap, this is like divine timing. Because of the summer solstice, you can do like a little ritual of your own and write down exactly how you want your life to be. And if that means, I don't want to have this, or I don't want to have that. You want to put it into things you want, not things you don't
Mm-hmm.
want, things that you want. Write it all down, think about it, be very present while you're doing that. Be very, very present while you're doing that. Light some candles, you know, and as you're done writing all of that, get a fire safe dish or do it outside. Okay. Light it, put it in your bowl, and let that completely burn. And when that's all burned, you're not going to blow your candle out. Super important. You're going to snuff it out. So I don't care what you use your spoon, snuff it out. Don't blow it out because you're blowing away all your intentions.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
So I like to think of it as a day in the life. So if you are going to write down what your heart's desire, soul purpose, and what you want your life to look like, walk yourself through a day in the life of your ideal dream life. What
yeah,
does it look like for you? What kind of things are you, uh, when I give this assignment too, I think of like a day in the life, and then what does your external stuff look like too? Like, what are you planning on as that day in the life?
right.
I have this, that, and the other thing, and then we're in the middle of planning amazing vacation and
Mhm.
with ease and whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Nice.
It's beautiful, a little tiny ritual. Do it for yourself. It's an opportunity for you to say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick to it. This is what I want. This is what I deserve. I'm tired of playing small. I'm ready for this. It's mine. I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone who's joining us, watching us, or listening to us. We hope that, or I'm pretty sure I can speak up for both of us. We hope that you take what resonates and you take something away from both of these messages combined together. And as always, we appreciate the energetic exchange of commenting, liking, and sharing. If you let us know your stories, or if you have any other little rituals that you do to honor solstice, or just even just recalibrating your compass, we love to hear. So leave us a comment. And yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up.
Perfect. Have a good
Yes.
day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.